is some good coffee, my friends. Today, we are going to be talking about why did I purchase this truck to haul my truck camper. Roll the intro. Right off the bat, I bought a 2017 Chevy 1-ton dually single cab. And just because I don't have a problem explaining finances, let's get into it. I paid $42,000 for this truck, but I did have a trade. The trade made the truck a little bit more expensive. Also, with all the taxes combined, I paid about $50,000 in total. $50,000 financed over 7 years is roughly right around $650 per month I pay for this truck. So in this video, I think we're gonna break it into 4 points that I wanna make, 4 or 5 points. Number 1, why I bought a Chevy. Number 2, why did I buy new? Number 3, why did I buy a 1-ton dually? Number 4, why on earth did I get a single cab? And number 5, why did I buy a gas truck over a diesel truck? Okay, so why did I buy a Chevy truck? I was looking at Ford, I was looking at Dodge, and each truck is, they all have their pros and cons. They're all wonderful trucks. But I think that subconsciously I picked a Chevy because my dad growing up had a work truck and it was always either a GMC or a Chevy. And it's funny because when I drive my truck, when I start it up, when I go down, it sounds the same when it starts up. When I go down a gravel road, the keys hitting the dash, it just all sounds the same, the signal lights. And so it kind of brings back childhood memories. And I think that, you know, subconsciously, that's why I was really focused on buying a Chevy. Also, like I said, it was a work truck. He works in the oil industry, and they put some serious wear and tear on their vehicles, and he says he's never had a problem with one of his trucks. So they're a dependable, reliable vehicle. So the second point that I want to make is, why did I buy a new truck? Why didn't I buy used? And one of the reasons, definitely and honestly, is because this is all I own. I own that truck and this truck camper and everything in this truck camper, nothing else. And so it's nice, it's simply nice to own a new vehicle. I can keep up with the maintenance schedule. No one's ever driven it before me. Just that new feeling is why a big reason why I bought new. Another reason is that when you buy a new vehicle, you can finance it for a longer term. So if I were to buy a 2014-15 truck, you can only finance it for about 5 years, which make your monthly payments more money. And so I decided to buy new so that I could finance it over 7 years, and then my monthly payments are lower. And with this new truck, I'm pretty much worry-free for 3 years because I do have warranty. So that is why I bought a new vehicle. Third point is, why did I buy a single cab? I don't know. I don't regret it. I just wish that I would have purchased an extended cab. So where I am right now on Vancouver Island, the truck selection, especially dualies, especially 1-ton, especially 3/4 ton, it's not, you don't have the biggest selection. And so yes, if that truck was sitting on the dealership with an extended cab or a quad cab, I would have, but it just didn't work out that way. I do not mind it. It's not that big of a hassle, but yes, if I could do it over again and there was an extended cab available to me, I would have picked that. Also, with a single cab, you have a larger payload capacity than a truck with 4 doors. And simply the reason is because those 4 doors way more than 2 doors, right? So the truck weighs more, thus your payload is less. So that's actually the next topic that we're gonna get into is why did I buy a 1-ton dually? And the simple answer is that a 1-ton dually is the only truck that can haul this 4,500 pound camper. You have half-ton trucks, you have 3/4 ton trucks, you have 1-ton single wheel trucks, and then you have 1-ton dualies, and then it goes up from there. But those are the most common trucks. And so what happens is with a 1-ton dually, you have the most payload capacity. And the reason for that is because you have that second wheel on the back. It's not so much the way the truck's designed, the leaf springs and the suspension. It's more or less the wheel has a weight limit. And so that second wheel bumps your payload way up so that you can haul more. So when you're looking at a camper, make sure you get the right truck. And then the last point that I want to make, and this is going to open up the floodgates in the comment section, if you please I'm not going to go over all the pros and cons. What we're going to be talking about is gas versus diesel in the last point. So there's big forums, big debates on all of this. I'm not going to go over all the pros and cons. It gets a little bit finicky when you're talking about the new trucks and the emission problems that some of them have, and each truck has their own, you know, pros and cons when it comes to that. I'll just give the basic examples. So let's start with talking about diesels. There's some big pros right off the bat. A diesel truck is meant for hauling / towing. Their hauling and towing capabilities are outstanding. When you're going up big hills, that truck is what you want to be towing a very large trailer. That's just what the engines are made for. Also, when you're towing, a diesel truck has better fuel economy than a gas truck. And they're gonna last forever. I think, like, statistically, I'm pretty sure that a diesel truck will last longer than a gas truck. Statistically. When I was buying my truck, I was YouTubing a bunch of stuff, and people were saying, yeah, you know, they'll go 1 million miles and all of this with the right maintenance. So those are definitely some big pros. Now, some cons with that: a diesel truck's going to be very expensive to purchase right off the bat. Give you an example. Like I said, I paid let's just say $45,000 for my truck. I was looking at a Dodge Cummins, very basic model, but diesel, and I got them down to $60,000. So that's a $15,000 difference. Not only is the truck expensive to buy right off the bat, but maintenance is expensive on it as well. Everything from oil changes to parts are more expensive. When you have a diesel truck, you need a diesel mechanic. A diesel mechanic charges more per hour. Okay, so now we're on to gas trucks, just like I bought. And there's some pros right off the bat. They're cheaper. They're cheaper than diesels, like I explained. The maintenance is cheaper. You can bring them anywhere to any mechanic and get your truck fixed, and the repairs and the parts are going to be cheaper. When you are hauling with a gas truck, it's definitely working. So when you're driving up a hill, like, my RPMs are pretty sky high. And you know, that's one thing with the diesels, is that they're just made for towing. And yeah, a gas truck's gonna do it. It's just gonna work harder, simply. And it's gonna burn more fuel. I get 10 miles per gallon when I'm hauling this camper around. Average 10 miles per gallon. A diesel truck would get better fuel economy than that. So there are some pros and cons to each. Now, I'm gonna tell you a little story of why, kind of the tipping point of where I went. You know, I was really looking at diesel, I was really looking at gas, and you could sit forever and just look at both of them, because the pros and the cons, they just kind of match up perfectly. So this is my tipping point. I was at a diesel mechanic. A friend of mine knows a diesel mechanic. He's got his own house, like his own business. He built garages onto his house. And I went there, I was asking him questions about the new trucks and all the emission problems and what you know, diesel truck I should buy and the pros and cons to each. And he gave me all the pros and cons. And as I was leaving, this is what he said. He said, Taylor, don't buy a diesel truck. Now, of course, he's a mechanic, and that's all he does all day is he sees problems with diesel trucks and he works on them, and I understand that. But he told me that if you don't need it for towing constantly, don't buy a diesel truck, because everything's more expensive with them. And he told me that there was an $8,000 bill at some time that I would be paying, and I believe that was for fuel injectors. I'm not quite sure what else, but that's what he told me. And so I just kind of went, you know what, that's really good information. I am going to buy a gas truck. And so that is why at the end of the day, I bought a gas truck. When I watch YouTube videos, I want people to tell me what I should do. Seriously. So take this advice or not. This is what I would suggest. If you don't have the money or if funds are tight, buy a gas truck. A gas truck is going to work wonders for you. It's going to do everything that you want it to do, period. If you do have the money, buy a diesel, because why not? If the maintenance schedule and the initial cost of a diesel isn't that big of a deal to you, you're going to get better fuel economy, it's going to be better at hauling, and it sounds cool. So that is my conclusion at the end of this video. Thanks for tuning in. It's always a pleasure talking with you guys. I hope that you're living the dream and continue to live the dream. And you take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye. Oh, you're still watching? Huh. You know what I'm gonna do at the end of my videos now? I'm gonna give you a little bonus feature. a little tidbit of information. So in some of my videos, you'll see this box light here. And what that is basically just to light up my face. So check this out. I really like the lighting. So you see how this side of my face is really bright? I like that. It's a very comfortable, very warm feeling. And then watch when I turn it off. See how different that is? It changes the mood. I feel like it changes the mood. It's more of a darker light, and then if I turn this light off, well, then you can barely see me. And I also like having the lights in the background. Kind of gives it just that warm, cozy vibe. There's a tidbit of information. Subscribe's up here, video's up here. I'm gonna put a video down here. I like this video, and there's gonna be plenty more videos. Okay, now I'm gone. I'm gone. Bye-bye.